Hey everybody, welcome back to Full Blast Garage. I'm John Strong, and we're on the hunt for another project. We got the tow pig fired up, heading down the road, getting out the gate here. And man, this project is one of my all-time favorite cars. I hope everybody's gonna like this thing. It's in rough shape, but that's what I can afford. And it's no fun buying a car that's all shiny and put together. We got to go ahead and do some wrenching and painting and body work and who knows on this thing. But stay tuned. I'll be pulling up soon to take a look at this project. And the purchase price is right. She's coming home with me. Now, as y'all can see, we got the Camaro pulled in. Had to drag it in with the Ranger. Got it up on 4 jack stands here. Usual with all our projects. But man, I just kind of want to do a little walk around of this thing. So this is a 68 Camaro. And it was wrecked. So it's wrecked. I think it's been parked probably since the 90s, if I had to guess. SS gas cap there, but I don't think this is a true SS. But the door here, when I bought it, sagged down. It kind of made me think maybe the chassis was twisted, but I just kind of jacked with the hinges for a minute and got it lined up pretty good. But some of the problem areas, you can't tell, got a little rust right there. Oh, maybe just a tad over here. Oh, something's supposed to go there. Oh, probably there too. The roof is solid somehow. But yeah, the rockers aren't in too bad a shape. We got some rust up there in the front. So the story on this thing was, guy had it, and I believe it was his daughter's car. And she drove it, crashed this thing into a tree, and I think it just got parked and been sitting ever since. I mean, this is kind of all the evidence you need. There was an accident. Someone's head went through the windshield there. Someone's head cracked the windshield over there. But what we're gonna need on this car is a subframe. If you guys can't tell, she's like this, maybe a little bit of that. I don't know, but it's definitely this. But you can see she got folded up pretty good over here. But it's got original engine, original transmission, that's all numbers matching. I was kind of jacking with this a little bit, that's why there's some tools and crap on the ground. I tried to just see if I could get this motor to spin over by hand, and I took all the plugs out. I've been soaking them with PB. On these cars, these older 327s, there's no crank bolt, so I tried, drilling and tapping the crank. I got a bolt in there, but I used a 1/2 inch grade 8. I probably should have went a hair bit bigger, and it just broke. And I wasn't even turning on it that hard. So it's got some issues, but I got a starter, and it looks like the flywheel's still intact. So before the end of this video, I'm just gonna hook that sucker up and send it, see if this thing's locked up or not. Well, let's go ahead, look in the trunk here. Let's see. Yeah, she's got some speed holes. Yeah, but for the most part, everything's here. Trunk's gone right here. Supposed to be trunk there. But you know what? The price was right on this thing, and look, like gaps, trunk lid, great gap. I was worried the chassis got twisted on this thing, and I've had a 69 in the past, long time ago. Gaps weren't great on them from the factory, but this thing is acceptable, I would say. More cancer over there. The rear quarter on this one looks a little bit better. We're missing some brake hardware. But yeah, she's got all the rot that you'd expect, you know, a car that's just been sitting kind of neglected. But I don't know if I told y'all this. I paid $4,000 for this car. And it has a title. And it's a clean title, not salvage. And got a complete interior, motor, transmission, rear end. It was a roller. I thought I got a pretty good deal. I mean, for Camaros, this Gen 1, you know, they're all kind of high. And anywhere from like 10 to 15 grand, I see shells, you know. So it's got steering wheel, all the gauges, and that's what kind of drew me in, was that 4-speed sitting there in the column. You can grab this thing, start ripping gears. Well, it's got one gear. Well, no, I think it went into third maybe there. But it's supposed to have 4. Eventually it will. But she's a complete car. And if you can't see, right there's some of our clutch mechanism. You can see that through the floor. But this is not going to be a concourse restoration. You know what I mean? We're not going to cut these quarters out, put new ones in. We're going to patch what we got and see how little we can spend and make this 68 something respectable, something that looks good on the road. I'm even going to put air conditioning in it because I plan on driving this thing. And in Texas, if you're driving something, it better have air conditioning. But I don't know, this thing, it just kind of spoke to me. You know, here on the garage, or, you know, on the channel, full blast, we got the El Camino we're finishing up. Got the old $100 jet ski. We got the Transient Am. And I was just like, man, I want to be a tall cow peeing on a flat rock and just make a big splash. And that's why I got this Gen 1 Camaro. I think this can kind of be one of my channel's just iconic cars, because I've done stuff like this in the past, just taking something that looked this bad and turned it into something that anybody would be proud of driving. And I think that's kind of my target audience. I want people that, you know, this is a realistic goal you can have. Spend $4,000 on something like this and just put a ton of sweat equity in it. You know, just work your butt off, make it look nice, and it'll be something you'd be proud of driving. And I did kind of want to go through the pile of parts I got here too. So I got, you know, the little nose part that goes in front of the hood, the valance, drive shaft. Oh no, that's for the Transient Am. Got a new set of fenders. New. Only slightly pre-rusted. That subframe, Facebook Marketplace find, $500. So we're into it, $4,500. And the guy gave me that hood. He said he bought it at a swap meet. Guy was picking it up from the paint shop and it got dinged. And he just said he didn't want it. Give him a new one. So there, it ended up with me somehow. And I got some little odds and ends here, you know, fan cowl, looks like some hubcap stuff and just little stuff. I mean, for what I work with, this is fine. I can do something with this. I can make it run and drive. It might not be with this 327 if it's not rebuildable, but I can slam another small block in here pretty easy, do some wiring, do some brake work, because I know all them brake lines are done, totally done. And to remove this subframe, a lot of that stuff needs to be unattached anyways. So, you know, I'm thinking I'm probably just gonna cut it, start over. But the subframe held on with 4 bolts and some bushings. But you got to take out, you know, some parking brake cables, brake lines, stuff like that's attached. But all the whole motor, transmission, everything, we'll just drop it out, wheel it out, and suck that new one up in there and see what we got to do to get it kind of burned in there. But yeah, we'll bolt that new one in, see where it wants to be, and kind of go from there. It'll get disc brakes in the front, but I'm going pretty stock back, you know, the way it was. So if you guys ever see, you know, a Camaro kind of wrecked in this orientation, there's a couple good measuring points. If your gaps look right, I would measure in your door jambs, you know, top of the door jamb to the front of the pillar, both sides. Make sure that this unibody hasn't collapsed on itself. You want to look at your roof line, make sure your roof doesn't have any kinks in it. But something like this, where it's just the subframe kind of rolled over and then it's tweaked up and this way, doesn't scare me. I'm okay with that. We can unbolt the subframe, throw a new one on it. But what I'm gonna do, fingers crossed, I'm gonna throw new starter on this thing, hook it up to my old jump pack garbage battery over here, and just see if this engine will turn over. You guys are gonna kind of learn, you know, at the same moment I am, if this sucker is just locked tight. It's a manual transmission and you got no crank bolt. So other than trying to drag this thing, you know, by the rear end, getting some force on the engine that way, which I don't recommend, you'd have to unbolt the transmission and get to the flywheel. There's not really good access to it to pry kind of back and forth. This, I wouldn't recommend. This is kind of just for entertainment purposes. Let's just, you know, smash a starter straight into that flywheel and see what happens. Maybe it'll turn over, and maybe I got a chance of getting this old 327 to run. But it's going to need a whole lot of cleaning, I can tell you that. But all right, let's go under the car, take a look at it down there. So I'm kind of under the car here where the starter goes. These old Camaros, a little bit different setup from most of your kind of newer small block Chevys. The newer starters have kind of like a flat mount. The old ones have like a short bolt and a long bolt. So one side will be for the short bolt, the other side will be for the long bolt. And this one does have multiple terminals on the solenoid. And on these, you always want to hook your trigger up to the S terminal. And S stands for starter, if that wasn't clear enough. So I got to wrestle this big old thing up in here. And it is not light. Not gonna lie, it feels like a 454 starter. Man, I think I got lucky on that. Stabbed that bolt in right the first time. But there's a whole lot of rust under here, guys. I definitely wasn't lying to you. You know, this thing needs quite a bit of work. But once we get that subframe out, we can kind of assess everything.
gonna make things a lot easier, just kind of starting with a clean slate right there. And this type of car is one you probably should wear your safety glasses under, because you're just gonna consistently get rust all down in your eyes. That's what I'm battling. Grab your impact with the longest extension. Go ahead and snug these down pretty good. I'm not a fan of installing my starters loose. That thing walk around at all, it will mess something up for sure. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get a set of jumper cables attached up here to the solenoid, go my positive on the big terminal, and I'm gonna put my little jumper pack, you know, my little click and switch here on the S terminal, and then I'll just run one over to the positive terminal so we can jump that. Go ahead and grab all that and get it put on.
Got the battery hooked up to my jumper cables here. Not using giant gauge wires. I mean, if it sounds like the motor's gonna turn over, then I might go to a bigger gauge. I'm just trying not to maybe kill it immediately. But we got the wires run up under the car. Everything's hooked up, and predictions in the comments. When I hit it, will this thing do anything? Will it shoot something just straight out the block? What's gonna happen? Is it just gonna be loud noises and flywheel teeth on the floor? So come on, baby. Woo! By the grace of Keith Whitley's perm, please turn over. Oh. Nothing. Well, we gave it a shot, but thing was sounding a little weak. Maybe let's give it the big juice. All right, so I've added pretty much the tractor jumper cables to the situation. See if we can get a little more current going to that starter. Oh, come on. Well, I saw some dust fall off the motor. I saw the crank budge a hair. She's locked up. It ain't gonna do nothing. Well, let me see if I can tap that crank pulley back, maybe just a little. See if that kind of give us a little bit of wiggle room there. Yeah, I meant the balancer. I beat on it a little bit and it moved, like it flinched a little. That's about it. That's about all we're getting. That little flinch right there. Maybe if I work this thing back and forth, I might be able to get something out of it. And I don't know. Well, keep troubleshooting here. If I get this thing moving, I'll let you know. Well, it's just bad news, guys. This thing is locked up, tighter than Alcatraz. I mean, tighter than Sarah Evans jeans in the 90s. All those, everything that's ever been tight, this motor is it. But the starter started putting on a magic show. It was letting them smoke come out everywhere. So that means it's working real hard. But that's why you get them lifetime warranty starters at O'Reilly's, just for occasions like this. But yeah, I think, I don't know, do I Facebook Marketplace the cheapest small block that I possibly can find? That's kind of what I feel like doing, but this is the numbers matching block to this car. I mean, do I pull the heads and pistons and rods and just kind of give it an old dingle ball, kind of clean up, just re-ring, re-bearing, and just stab it on back in. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to at least take the heads off. I've scoped it. Nothing looks super concerning. There was one little spot where I looked like maybe a piece of the piston, just the very edge might have been broken off, but that could have been like a shadow or some carbon I was seeing. But she's locked up. I think she sat outside and probably got rained in with the carb off, or even with the carb on these cars, it would get down in there. I mean, it's sad, it sucks. I haven't ever run into one that was so broke that I couldn't get unstuck. But this one, just being the manual transmission, there's no crank bolt that I can torque on, kind of left me with, let's beat on the balancer, or, let's just give it all the beans with the starter. And it moved 1/8 of an inch, maybe, and that was it. And I kind of worked it back, hit the starter again, another 1/8 of an inch, work it back, just kind of did that, and it never moved any more than that. So this thing, it's gonna need some work. We're gonna pull that. I'm just gonna leave it on there, just drop the whole subframe and everything together. Honestly, I'll probably leave it sitting on the subframe when I pull the intake and the heads and everything off it and just take a look at it. But, this is my new project. This is a long-term one, and I'm going to keep this one. I'm not going to get rid of a Gen 1 Camaro. I didn't think I'd be able to afford one anytime soon. And when this thing popped up with 99% of the car sitting there, I had to jump all over it. I mean, I got that Facebook Marketplace addiction, and it is real, serious. But, I hope you guys are going to like this thing. And I have dubbed it. It's gotten a name, like those real fancy Gen 1 Camaros. They were, the FOPO Camaros. This thing's going to be the FOPO Camaro, because in the listing, I'm pretty sure that guy said 4 parts. So this is the 4 parts only Camaro. So we're going to make a FOPO Camaro. It's going to go down the road, and we're going to put it on full blast. I guarantee you that. And till you watch my next video, man, just go out, do something that makes you happy. Like dragging in some old 60-year-old piece of junk and just start putting it back together. But hopefully you'll find one that the engine's not completely locked up.